grandpa's grandpa bought this place in 1913, 107 years ago. And they all had other jobs besides just farming and ranching. My grandpa taught sociology and history. He's a high school teacher. He was a Korean War veteran, and he always had some cows on the side. Same way with his son, my uncle, and my mother. They all worked other jobs, but the ranch has been in the family for over a century, and so now, you know, I kind of work the ranch too. And just newsflash, there's not a ton of profit margin in cow-calf production, but it is something that we feel strongly about as far as our duty to provide animal proteins at the very first phase of the beef supply chain. The joy of cow ownership, pride of ownership. Part of that is, you know, caring for the cattle, meeting their needs, but this is not our primary income. I work in town as a mixed animal veterinarian, and I, you know, care for the cows daily, but we're limited kind of to the weekends for times we can undertake projects. And when we have inclement weather like this, you know, I'm not running a chainsaw or building fence or doing some of the things that need to be done. So this concept of weekend ranching is something that we do, but it, you know, we don't just take care of the cattle on Saturday and Sunday. You know, I'm out here every morning before work to make sure that we're providing for their well-being. So kind of those that went before me did it. I'm going to do it. My children are 2 and 3 months, and hopefully they like to do it too. But that lifestyle is just ingrained in you from a very early age, and so I don't know anything different, and I'd like to continue doing it as long as I can. Very first thing I ever remember wanting to be was a veterinarian, because I just so greatly looked up to the vets that would come once in a blue moon to help us with our major medical problems associated with the cattle. And in that time frame, you know, we still do those things as vets, but there's become also, you know, more of an opportunity to consult on herd health and health protocols and some of the other general well-being things in a cow-calf operation that, you know, we didn't necessarily know were available when I was a kid. But I always wanted to be a vet. You know, I looked up to him so much. I worked for him in high school. Then I got to college and I realized it was going to take some serious work to become a veterinarian. I got to Chem 2 in my second semester of my freshman year of college, and I ended up dropping the class because I just didn't really want to put my nose to the grindstone and work through those prerequisites to go to vet school. So I sort of abandoned that, did my undergraduate. I kind of, you know, not necessarily drifted, but I worked on a master's degree for a few years after undergrad, and then I kind of came back to this original thought that had nagged at me throughout that time. You know, is this something I'm capable of doing? Do I have what it takes to get into veterinary school and then pass all my classes, pass the licensing exam, you know, get a seat, survive school, you know, become a veterinarian? And I just couldn't let that thought go. So I went through all the prereqs. Applied to several schools. I got an interview at one of them, which happened to be K-State. I'm a Kansan, and I went, and somehow they let me in. But I don't know if I had gotten, you know, denied that first time, if I'd have kept trying, just because I always had that nagging thought in my head: am I able to do it? And so now I am. And it's one of those things. Growing up, you kind of just realize your heroes are just, you know, men like you who are not perfect, but also, you know, larger than life to you. And so now, you know, I get to practice with one of the guys that was my